Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. All right, come in for a big hug. Right, welcome to Sunday's edition of the dceu Daily. And yesterday, Ray Fisher, aka Cyborg, from Justice League, was at a fan expo, a comic convention, whatever you want to call it. And he was asked about what he thinks about a possible Cyborg movie. So this is what he had to say.
Well, I think there's still some repairing that has to take place between Cyborg and his father in that relationship. I think there's also a lot of ground to explore how much technology is too much technology for humanity and how fast technology is evolving and the role that Cyborg could play in potentially mitigating the issues that would come about because of that. I mean, you're dealing with a character who can, with a thought, launch all the nuclear devices of the planet. You're dealing with a character who could shut down, every electronic device known to man. Like that's a pretty big power in this day and age. And if there was a person who was like, hey, listen, I want to try to hijack Cyborg's technology, that'd be a big problem. So I think something along those lines, blend those two stories.
That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah,
I like that. That would be really unique to explore.
Yeah, because he's in it 24/7. There's not a cell phone camera that he can't access.
Right.
It's like that. So you could do some sort of like eagle eye spy thriller if you wanted to. I think the possibilities are really endless.
Well, and also from the character's point of view, how much is too much? When does he, limit himself?
Yeah, so I think in Justice League we see a cyborg who we got a flyboard flying by me.
It's a Texas flag.
In Justice League, I think we see him fighting against the machine. And I would like to see what it would be like if, he becomes so comfortable with himself that he actually gives a little too much, gives in too much to the machine side. Where he's like, I'm going to embrace this wholeheartedly. And it ends up being, too much stuff.
Right.
So, there's really no end to the kinds of stories you can tell about a character like this, particularly because this technology is evolving. It's like our technology is evolving. Every year we get new updated phones and TVs and 8K and 16K and this. So like as technology evolves, this fly is like persistent.
Yeah, he just wants to hang out. He's trying to steal the spotlight.
Exactly. He's doing a good job too. It's a white couch. He's like, yeah, just land right there. But I really think
Yeah, I think that was brilliant. You know what? I really like Ray Fisher. I really do. He comes across as a very intelligent young actor. And my personal opinion, despite what they did with Justice League and took it away from Zack, I still feel that Cyborg's character was brilliant and brilliantly played by Ray as well. I loved him in the movie. I really did. You really did feel the character struggle and this difficult relationship he had with his dad. Now, we know Snyder planned to kill Silas Stone, and it was him who was going to narrate at the end, not Lois Lane. So you imagine him narrating at the end as the newly formed Justice League, get into the boom tube or something and arrive on Apocalypse to fight Darkseid and his minions. Imagine that. That would have been awesome. But I hope you could hear that, because this is what I like. It's very rarely you hear actors speak so plainly, so clearly about what they'd love from a movie they may never get to make. He said he's not the one making the big decisions, but he'd really like to see Cyborg struggle with the power that he has and then maybe get, comfortable with that power, and then it goes too far. He was talking about the evolution of technology these days with 4K, 8K, and all of that. I'm just kind of going back to what he said, just in case the video wasn't very clear for you to hear, because I've got a bloody lawnmower going outside. So I'm apologising about that straight off the bat. So I absolutely loved what Ray had to say. Will we ever get a Cyborg movie? It's pretty clear that Warner Brothers feel they can't make a lot of money from a Cyborg movie. I don't agree. He's a great character. The fans love him. The potential, as Ray said, is limitless. And you know what? I would absolutely love to see a Cyborg movie starring this brilliant young actor called Ray Fisher. The respect he's shown Zack Snyder so many times publicly is beautiful, because not all the Justice League actors are that public and forthright for their support for Zack. Who watches the John Campea show on YouTube? So a couple of weeks ago, he claimed that there's no sign or no announcement of a Shazam sequel. Now, we know, as usual with his anti-DCEU negativity, that this is not true. So we already know that a Black Adam movie is being made off the back of the success of Shazam. Yes, Shazam was successful. Everybody loved this damn movie. And it's made just under 400 million on a 90 million budget. I don't care what you say. I don't care. It's a success. This film, just like the first Ant-Man, was never going to make $1 billion. Right? Ant-Man, right? Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2 actually really underachieved compared to the other MCU movies, right? So if you compare Shazam to the DCEU movies, you can call it a flop or a failure, but it's not, because it's pretty much the Ant-Man of the DCEU, and people love this movie. So Zachary Levi has said he expects to start shooting on a Shazam sequel in 2020. So we've got the Batman shooting in 2020, and we've got Shazam. And don't forget, in a year's time, The Rock will start shooting Black Adam. So potentially in 2021, we could have 3 DCEU movies. Shazam, Black Adam, in the same year. Imagine that, right? In the same year. Although if they're shooting in about a year, what is it now? No, it's absolutely feasible that 2021 could be an epic year for the DCEU. So I'm really excited about that. So shove that down your MCU Disney shield throat, John Campea. Anyway, we're back talking to Ray Fisher because he's been talking some more at his little celebrity fan expo convention. Of course, these actors all get paid. This is a very profitable, lucrative industry to go around doing these expos. But at the end of the day, I think that these people speak from the heart. They enjoy doing them. Of course, they get paid. Of course, it's their time. Why not? So, Screen Rant and Anna Dumaradig, or whatever you say. However, sorry, I butchered your name. There's an article here from Screen Rant, and this is what it says. DC Cyborg movie actor wants the Justice League Snyder Cut released. Ray Fisher also wants Justice League Snyder Cut to be released following his brief appearance in 2016 Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Fisher officially debuted in Warner Bros. And DC's assembled flick directed by Zack Snyder as Victor Stone, Cyborg. The project was supposed to solidify the studio's plans for an interconnected superhero franchise. You mean Zack Snyder's awesome plans? Right, where are we? Where have I gone? Studio's plans for an interconnected superhero franchise. Sadly, it performed poorly critically at the box office, causing them to rethink their strategy. They wouldn't have had to rethink their strategy if they stuck with Zack, let him do his thing, and then do a phase 2, with Walter Hamada, for Christ's sake. Ridiculous, anyway. Marred by a few controversies, one of its most talked about mishaps is the director switch between Snyder and Joss Whedon, changing much of the film's original narrative. Yes. This led to the rise of the Release the Snyder Cut movement, a campaign started by fans demanding that Warner Bros. Release the original cut of the movie, with Junkie XL as the original composer before Danny Elfman stepped in intended musical score. A year and a half since Justice League hit theatres, the petition is still going. And of course, it's more than a petition, isn't it? We're a proper movement. Despite the studio not giving any indication that it has any intentions of heeding the request, however, as time goes by, more prominent people are getting behind the cause, the latest of whom is Fisher. Appearing at Celebrity Fan Fest via Super Bro Movies, the actor was asked about his thoughts regarding the Release the Snyder Cut petition. He said that if he had the ability to roll out this version of Justice League, he would, to the delight of the audience. Fisher didn't elaborate on what he knows about the Snyder's original narrative, but his support to the initiative is more than enough for fans who have relentlessly campaigned for the cause. And this is what Super Bro Movies posted. If I had the power, absolutely. If Cyborg was around, he'd drop it. Ray Fisher, when asked if he would release the Snyder Cut, beautiful Ray, beautiful human being. There were several elements in Snyder's original Justice League cut that was left on the cutting room floor when Whedon manned reshoots and post-production. This resulted in the movie feeling truncated and incoherent with what's established in the DCEU by previous Snyder films. However, no personal art was more overlooked than Cyborg's. The character was supposed to be the heart of the film. Do you know what? I still think he was the heart of the film. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been better with Zack's version, but I still think Whedon did give Cyborg a lot, and I loved Cyborg in the movie. Having a personal stake in the matter, given his link to the mother boxes, not to mention the involvement of his father Silas Stone, Joe Morton, who used the powerful devices to reconstruct his disabled son. Much of his origin story was cut from Justice League's theatrical version, including some character moments between him and his family, making him feel more like a plot device than a key player in the story. Look, it's not good what they cut, and we could have seen more of Cyborg, and that would have been awesome. And I want to see it, but I still think Cyborg was great in Whedon's cut. That's my personal opinion, but I know they cut so much and it's outrageous. Fisher openly wanting the Snyder Cut to be released makes sense, considering how much of Cyborg's story was left out by Justice League. Aside from its implications in the film itself, not properly developing his character hindered his changes of having an actual future on the DCEU. While Wonder Woman and Aquaman move forward with their own standalone adventures, there doesn't seem like an urge to see a Cyborg solo film, simply because fans have yet to be invested in the character. If the public learns how he was initially supposed to be utilised in the movie, then maybe they'll get behind the hero and push for another outing from him. I think lots of people would love to see a Cyborg movie, as I've already said. Ray Fisher has been talking very openly. He's obviously not working for Warner Brothers anymore. I don't know what he's doing now. And, he's a theatrically trained young actor. He's a massive talent. We were very lucky that Zack got him to play Cyborg. But of course, Zack's casting as all these, lead superheroes was absolutely fantastic. When Grace Randolph did her full spoiler review of the Justice League movie, she spoke about Zack Snyder's lost footage. And this is what she had to say.
The lost footage. This will plague this movie forever, just like it does Suicide Squad. And I hope that Warner Brothers releases it, unlike Suicide Squad, where they're still holding on to a lot of that footage. Where is the Joker with the grenade? I just want to see it. All right, so again, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement when I went to visit the Warner Brothers lot, so I can't discuss what I saw, but I can tell you that I saw a lot that wasn't in this movie. And it was good. It was really good. It was really, it had a lot, it provided a lot more depth than you see in the finished product, unfortunately, once it went through the studio suits and Whedon. So I really want to see the cut. I mean, I know it's frustrating to keep having to see, alternate versions of these movies, but I don't care. I just want to see it because I feel like I would like it. I feel like I would like it a lot. So I want that original Zack Snyder cut. I mean, he showed it to the suits, so it exists. It's not like, oh, well, we didn't cut all that footage together. It's going to be a lot of work. Just pull up that project file and give it to me. I would totally watch the hell out of it. I believe it's, some of you pointed out, like 3 hours long, and we've seen tons of shots from the trailers that aren't in the movie. I really need to see it. All right, so anyway, let's go to the characters. All right, So
that's what Grace Randolph had to say when she was doing her full spoiler review of Justice League. Now, Grace has blocked me on Twitter because Grace is a very controversial figure and fans disagree with her. And unfortunately, like these people who have got a blue check mark, they don't like any opposition. So I've been blocked by her. But when someone does or says something I agree with, even though if they don't like me, despise me, block me, I don't care. I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to say bravo, Grace, because I forgot she actually said that at the time. Luckily, I can still watch Grace's videos on YouTube because I admire her and I think she does a great job. But sometimes I believe she talks utter shit. So look, the whole release the Snyder Cut thing now is gone beyond a few people, a few Snyder fans fighting for this. Now there's so many people. Now we know that Will Rowlands is raising money for the banners at Comic-Con. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. The guy's doing a great job. Again, this thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so many blue checks now, blue ticks, verified accounts, on Twitter, Instagram, all over the shop, right? And big YouTubers are now talking about this. So what I would say to anyone who, if you stumble across this video and you're a big YouTuber, a successful YouTuber, please do one video about the Snyder Cut, not a negative one. Even if you hate Zack Snyder, be fair and say, this film should be released. This was the guy's work. He left the project because his daughter had unfortunately ended her life. What a tragic story. And then for them to go behind his back and do what they did. I absolutely understand Warner Brothers' position. Everyone was up against them. Everyone was pressurizing them. But they made the wrong decision. And I'll say this again, and I know it's boring. They should have let Snyder finish his 5-movie arc, moved him off, and brought someone else in. That's all they had to do. The films were still making enough money to call them profitable. Jesus Christ, Warner Brothers, you are, the studio who's always backed directors, mostly, even if the movies weren't that profitable. So why couldn't you do it again? I understand that DC has a great potential in film to make a hell of a lot of money. But this is about are you a studio who just wants to make easy generic movies? Or are you a studio that respects, storytellers and creatives, imagination and freedom to tell their own stories? And I think this is the problem here. And this is why, the release of the Snyder Cut movement is so important. And I think sooner or later, a big, director producer is going to come out and say something. It wouldn't surprise me if James Gunn does it as well. Now, apparently, bleedingcool.com actually did an article about maybe James Gunn helping to release the Snyder Cut. Now, I can't find the article anywhere, but that is a very interesting angle, because James Gunn is really good friends with Zack Snyder. But I've gone beyond just wanting the Snyder Cut. I want to see this 5-movie arc. I want the whole Snyder vision. I'm a greedy person. I said this yesterday as well. I've started rewatching the dceu movies, so I got onto Suicide Squad and I completed watching it yesterday, seen it loads of times. I love that movie. I will never understand the hate for this film from critics and some people, calling it a mess. I think it's a brilliant film, but beyond that, it's a genius of a franchise movie. One of the first lines is about Superman's death from Amanda Waller, and how great was Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, by the way. Wasn't she amazing? The Batman cameos, the Bruce Wayne and Amanda Waller scene in the post-credits scene. I've been fantasizing about Bruce Wayne and Agent Waller all my life in a live-action movie, and we got it. And it was beautifully done in that famous line from the comics, you look tired, you should stop working nights, or whatever she says. That's an iconic line. And when it does a close-up on Affleck's reaction, brilliant. So, and it's, as I say, it's a great franchise movie. It really is a stepping stone movie. Basically, it's the bridge before Wonder Woman and Justice League. So it's a pretty important movie. And that movie proves that Snyder was building a very special cinematic universe. But no one gave him a chance. Why? Because it wasn't Marvelized. Because it wasn't generic and it wasn't all bright, light and fun. But here's the thing. I had a lot of fun watching Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. I had a lot of fun. I also had a lot of fun watching Aquaman and Shazam. Go figure. Wow. Not bad for a miserable franchise, is it? And here we are now. Here we are. We are at the crossroads of this movement. And I'm sniffing success. I'm sniffing success, everyone. Don't give up. Keep on doing what you're doing, because we're going to get there. And maybe we may even be able to see Zack's complete vision of the DC cinematic universe. Wouldn't that be something? I think it would be amazing. And I think it's something worth fighting for.